Sewing my fin, sewing the carp's fin is a jig I've made to do one cut, 7-degree angle and 2 different orientations. There you go. They're doing well. They're slower, but they're pretty good with life. And I think the most obvious cause of that would be that the rain changes the pH in the water. Hello, so finally back vlogging. As you may well know, I've released a couple of videos since the last vlog. So there was one about sewing the carp's fin and super gluing the carp's fin, and I finally got around to finishing that and sort of getting my thoughts together, which was quite important. And yeah, that's quite a good video, I thought. And I also released a long clip video, which I call them long clip videos. What they really are is they're not really clips, but they're kind of a longer video that's not an episode. I tend not to talk in them, and they tend to just be footage, and they tend to be less edited footage and pretty much always of the fish. So yeah, they don't tend to get the views, but they tend to be quite popular. So the kind of likes to views ratio tends to be quite good, but the number of views aren't, which I guess means, and I think I've waffled about this before, is they're not super popular, but they're very popular with the people who like them. Does that make sense? I think it does. Right, so as you can probably see, I'm in the garage. I'm going to turn you around, just talk about a couple of garage-related stuff. Right then, so it's relatively tidy. Bucket of water there. That's because I've been doing pavers in the last few days in amongst the rain. So there's my big telly. If you didn't know, you've got to have a telly in the garage. There's my laptop, and my laptop is got my CCTV on. It's keeping an eye on the fish. Fish are all fine. I will talk a little bit more out there. I've had to put a treatment in, but it's not for the fish, if that makes sense. And if you're wondering why I've got speakers on my laptop in my garage on my work desk, it's because I found those speakers and I thought, what can I use them for? And I thought I'd put them out here. Anyway, this is my latest non-garden or pond-related project. I've made, I don't know if I've spoken about this before, but basically this is 3 shelves out of an old cheapo unit that I've laminated, glued together, and then shaped a little bit and sanded. And this is a jig I've made to allow me to do 2 7-degree cuts on pieces of wood. Well, one cut that cuts at a 7-degree angle and 2 different orientations. But I will show you more about that when I actually use it. But I made all that, and it looks ropey as anything, but I'm quite proud of both those things. I do hope the finished product turns out good as well. Those bits of wood are for that as well, I'll let you guess. So yeah, I've got some pavers left for some of my paving work, but I haven't quite got enough, so I'm not finishing it because I just want to go out there once and do it and get all the concrete, cement and all that stuff. Full bin, because I've just tidied up. Right, so that's all to show you in here. Let's go outside. I will take some food. The temperature is quite low, so I'm not feeding a lot. I'm just using up the balance, Saki Akari balance I've got, and I have ordered some more food, but it is the 4 seasons or seasons, I can't remember what it's called, but it's that stuff. There's the fish. Let's give them some food. There you go. They're doing well. They're slower, but they're pretty good with life. Now, I treated the pond because, and I think I've spoken about this in lots of other videos, in the autumn is the time I'm absolutely guaranteed, need to take those pavers in, absolutely guaranteed to get algae. And I think it's because the plants are, they're not growing a lot and they're starting to die back a little. The lilies are hanging in there, but they're going to be going soon, and the irises have definitely stopped growing. And some of these other plants I don't know the name of, their growth has definitely slowed. So, the plants are a kind of major way in which nitrate is eaten up in the pond. So the fish, even though the temperatures have dropped, would still eat as much if I gave it to them. So in terms of the nitrification cycle, nitrate is being produced in quite high amounts, but the plants aren't eating as much of it. So this time of year in the autumn, I tend to get a big algae bloom because of it. Now sometimes it dies off by itself, sometimes it doesn't, but I don't know if you can see down there, the string algae there, yeah. And I just thought I'll treat it now, really, get on top of it. So that's what I've done. I've had some fun time with the rain. Pond really overflowed and got a bit murky because, you know, stuff from the side around it washed in, but so I pumped that out. You may be able to see, if you can see on the skimmer, it's not going to help, is it? There's two screws, and usually the water is just above that screw, but I left it a bit low because we have got some more rain to come, and I just thought it makes more sense to just keep it a bit low and let the rain top it up. The problem with that is, as I've kind of half talked about, is that I think the fish react badly when there's a lot of rain in a short period of time. So what I'll see is they'll do a bit of, not really flashing, but they'll do a bit of jumping if we have a lot of heavy rainfall. And I think the most obvious cause of that would be that the rain changes the pH in the water quite suddenly and they don't like it. Now, I know in the koi keeping hobby, this can be quite a damaging thing and quite a risky thing. In my pond, with my fish, not so much. They'll have usually 24 hours after a heavy rainfall, and it has to be a really heavy rainfall, they'll jump about a bit and then they're fine again. It usually stops. And if the rain comes just before I'm doing a pond clean, I do a water change, they don't seem to experience it at all. Now, the question you might well sensibly ask is, have I tested the water? And I have, but it was really inconclusive and inconsistent. And the reason with that is I think my pH tests were out of date. And I haven't bought any more. So I probably should, but I think because there's no long-lasting problems and they just do a couple of jumps, I'm not so worried about it. But this last week, they, again, even though it was really, really heavy rain and, you know, the proportion of rain to their usual water was quite high, they didn't jump that much. There's my cat. Like a leopard. So yeah, so that was something I have kind of talked about, but I'm not so worried about it. They don't seem to injure themselves, which makes me think they're not doing a lot of kind of flashing or flicking off the bottom, because I think if they were doing that, you'd see maybe a lost scale or a bit of a scrape, and I'm not really seeing that. I definitely don't think it's parasites. It's so consistent and so connected with rainfall, and it makes a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. So there you go, there's the fish. Everything's going great. Now, one other thing to show you is I'm doubling the height around there of the pavers on the wall to the bordered area, and I finally made up my mind what I'm doing with all of this. As I said, I haven't got enough to finish it, so I'm going to wait till I only need like 7 or 8 more pavers, which is £4, but I'll get them at some point. So my plan for this is, there's 2 reasons why I'm raising the height. I'm not having them on end like that. They're going to be like that. Is one, when the rain falls, it stops the mud splashing onto the path so much. But also I'm going to put a fence around it, and it's going to be a mini version of the heron fence with sort of narrower posts, and I've got quite a lot of that rope left that I'll kind of, what's the word, unplait. That's the best word I can think of. And is that a mushroom growing? I believe that is a mushroom. Sorry, I'm easily distracted. Unplait it so it'll be a narrower rope, and I'll get the same mesh and I'll put that in there, and that'll be good for 2 reasons. One, it'll just kind of like board it off, and I'm not trying to keep the animals out like my cat. In fact, I want them to go in it. It'll be part of their area. I'm actually gonna do a little path through there, around there. But the reason for the fence will help in another way is I was thinking about getting turf, because actually turf is the easiest natural looking thing to get leaves off, rather than sort of wood chip or things like that. But turf's expensive, it's a bit of a pain getting grass to grow. So what I think I'm going to do, if I've got that netting there, it means once leaves fall in there, they can't fall out again. So there'll just be a bit of natural composting, which is a good thing. So I won't really have to pick the leaves up. So I can do what I want really in this area, which will probably mean wood chip actually, because it's quite a good option. So I'm going to plant some trees of various types, definitely some fir trees, sort of Christmas tree things, and definitely might get an acer, and also some ferns and some shrubs, and then build that gate. And it's just an area. I'm going to have a little windy path through there, around there, and then out. And it's just going to be a nice area for the cats, and latterly, in an increasingly close period of time, over a year, but I'll be getting a dog. So yeah, when I retire and I've got time to look after it properly. So it'll be a nice area for it to explore, especially when it's a puppy and before it gets to go out, because I haven't got a very big garden because of this thing. So I've got to try and make it interesting, lots of interesting smells and places to explore. But anyway, that's the plan for that. Let's go back in the garage. And I will sit down and have a chat. And if I'm really clever, I'll maybe get the laptop. What I was going to say before I basically dropped the tripod, I was going to say if I was really clever, then I'd get a picture of my pond in the background rather than just sit in the garage. Right, yeah, so yeah, I want to finish that border area in the garden, and that'll be over the next few months. And yeah, I just think it'll be interesting and low maintenance. And as I was thinking, that mesh that I've got on the heron fence is actually really good for stopping leaves. So once leaves fall in that area, I don't have to do anything to them. I can just leave them and they can mulch down and do whatever. So yeah, that's my plan for that, which will both be cheaper and even lower maintenance, which is, you know, a good thing. As you can see, I haven't been doing the vlogs. So as I think I said in one of my videos or on a community post, I can't remember. So I was taking time off the vlogs because I wanted to get the editing on the fin repair video done. And so I did. And work's been quite busier. Normally at work, I'll get time in a break that I can go and do some videoing or vlogging or something on the pond. But work's been so busy when it's come to my break, I've just thought, nah, I'll have a break and not do anything. So that's kind of what I've been doing, really. So my plan for vlogs is I'm just going to maybe do 1 or 2 a week, and it's going to be a catch up from the week. I'm not going to vlog every day and then edit all together because I can't take things out and edit in that way very well. So I think it's better if I just do what I've done today, really, and this is the vlog. So today's Saturday, by the way, which I didn't say. I haven't done my normal pond cleaning because I did it the other day because I was off Thursday, Friday, and I finally done the big pressure filter clean, and I was going to power wash everything. Now, 2 things from that moment. I will stick a link to a video where I successfully power wash the pressure filter, but it didn't go that successfully. But two things, 2 takes from it. One, the pressure filter wasn't that dirty, which I think is a good thing generally. It was surprisingly not that dirty at all, which I was very delighted about. But I broke my pressure washer, so I couldn't power wash it. So I had to, well, I broke the connector that the hose pipe goes onto. So I couldn't use the power washer, so I had to scrub it with a brush and squeeze it and rinse it and all that sort of thing, which was less fun. Well, it's actually as much fun as you'd imagine it is, which is none. It reminded me when I had a 20,000, is it ORZ pressure filter, and it was my main filter on the pond. I had a box filter with some biological media, but when I first had my pond, it was the 20,000 litre pressure filter, and every week I'd clean it and it would be filthy every week. I mean, really disgustingly filthy every week. But yeah, and it was never good times cleaning the pressure filter. And I always used to find it hard, I don't know what anyone else has, putting the ring back round to seal the lid on it and get it all watertight. But I did it this last time, it just went swimmingly. I thought I really should have filmed it because I just did it in one go and it never happens. But anyway, there you go, I'm waffling. So I did all the cleaning in one go. I did all in pond cleaning. I did the major cleaning on the filters. I did the big clean on the pressure filters. I just did it all in one go. And then the next day I put the algae treatment in, just to get on top of it. So that's my pond. My fish are fab. They're doing really, really well. So no problems with that. I'm going to do a lot more underwater filming. I always say that and I never do it, but I am very motivated for doing it. I'm going to get that done, and I'm going to start planning the border, and I'm also going to start planning this. Something that is replacing what's currently there. Now the green screen I'll make into a more portable version because it is useful at times. But that space, I've got something a little more interesting to go there. But as I said on a previous vlog, I don't want to jinx it. And it's going to be a lot of DIY involved in what it is. Yeah, in every part but one, depending on how lucky I get buying something, which I'm going to leave that kind of unhelpfully enigmatic. But yeah, I will let you know nearer the time. I think probably what I'm going to do is I'm not going to let you know nearer the time. I'm lying terribly. I will let you know when it's all done and complete, and I can show you the finished thing. So on that note, thanks loads for watching. I've got to do the countdown, haven't I? I am at 949, which means I am only 51 away. I think that's the gap. Although I must say, in terms of getting to 1,000, that's great. In terms of getting even, 10 quid monetized, I'm a million miles away, because I'm going to lose out on views, which is a shame, but hey ho. Right, so that'll do. Again, thanks very much for watching. Go and check out those other new videos I've released lately. I have got another one that I'm editing as I edit this one, doing both at the same time, kind of. And I will see you next time.